All right, so we're going to move on to our next question, which is a really terrific question from Henrik Tedesi, and he is from Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. Thanks for truly making the sublime and fascinating part of everyday discussions. Here's my question. How is Stephen Hawking's theory about the accretion disk around black holes proven? How does one go about proving theories about something so far away and not directly observable? And what current theory or study of black holes excites you?
I love it. Okay, so first, I think he's referring to Hawking radiation. Because otherwise, the accretion disk, that's a whole other thing. It's a whole, black holes can have accretion disks, but Stephen Hawking wasn't there.
Okay.
He cares about black holes evaporating by creating particles out of the gravitational field that surrounds the black hole. So I'm a black hole and I have this gravitational field. It's an intense gravitational field. And occasionally, my field will create a particle-antiparticle pair. And they'll fly apart. One typically falls back in to the black hole, the other escapes. Well, if this keeps up, what's the future of this? You run the math, and the particles inside the black hole are what are escaping by this mechanism out of the gravitational field. The gravitational field has a built-in inventory of what particles were absorbed by the black hole to begin with, had fallen into the black hole. The question was, do you lose all the information of particles falling in? No, it's retained, apparently. The Hawking radiation recovers all that fell into the black hole. It recovers it. And so the black hole gets smaller and smaller and smaller without ever having to reach in through the event horizon. That's what's amazing here.
Yeah.
Stuff is coming out of the black hole because it's birthed outside of the black hole, right? So now watch. So how do we know this is happening? We don't. Quantum physics is the most successful theory of physics there has ever been. We have yet to see any edges where it begins to fail us. Newton's laws fail us at high speeds and high gravity. We needed Einstein to come in to cut that some slack. Okay? Well, how about this? That was a limit of Newton's theories. How about Einstein's? There's a limit to Einstein's. What happens in the center of a black hole? What happens at the singularity of the Big Bang? Einstein's equations fail there. It's sometimes described as where God is dividing by zero. Remember, you're not supposed to divide by zero?
Right.
In your math class?
Yeah.
You try doing that on your calculator. It doesn't like you.
No.
It's like, you idiot, go back and take some math.
Catches fire in your hand.
So the thing with quantum physics is it is so effective and so potent that if you discover an effect in quantum physics just by manipulating the tenets of quantum physics and the equations, that prediction, we take that as gospel.
Because quantum physics has yet to fail us.
Correct. That's why we all believe...
But that doesn't mean it's infallible.
Correct. But that's why we all are on board with Hawking radiation. We're all on board with it.
And the part of his question...
All of us.
About, well, speak for yourself, buddy.
Except for you.
Yeah, Mr. Tribble. How do you prove theories about something so far away goes to the way that, sort of that, the photo from 2019 of the black hole. They look at stars orbiting invisible masses. They caught heat and X-rays from matter.
That's how you know the black hole is there,
right,
and how big it is and what it does to its environment.
LIGO and gravitational
all
waves,
yes.
all of that.
So these are observations. You don't have to be there. You just need a telescope. That's what makes telescopes useful. How do I know you were home? Because I looked in your window with my telescope. Okay.
Right, but it's sort of like, you speculate there's a black hole out there, but you can't see it, but you see all of sort of the chaos around it. It's like that coworker you never see leaves a mess everywhere.
They do.
And you got to clean up after the coworker.
There's always somebody that needs cleaning up after.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. They break it after they touch it.
The stars are orbiting something you can't even see. It's like a dog chasing an emotional tennis ball, right? Just in a circle.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here.
An emotional tennis ball.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to be thinking about that later.
No, I don't want to think about it. So the environment of a black hole, we understand pretty well. enough to look for what it predicts.
Right.
In fact, the first X-ray telescopes were targeting objects that we thought, could there be a black hole here? Is this signature of a black hole? You do the math, a black hole with an accretion disk, as was mentioned here, would radiate X-rays. Let's look for X-rays.
And those X-rays showed, because you get something back from black holes through X-rays, right?
And it wasn't the black hole that emitted it, it was the material around it. Correct.
But it told you, because that X-ray basically said that's like the black hole chewing with its mouth open, right? Look, I'm eating, right? You can
yeah.
In a way.
I think that's accurate.
You know? I mean, that's a scientist in me talking right now. All right, we're going to move on. Elite.
All right.
Greetings, Dr. Tyson. My name is Caleb Ferguson from Lebanon, Virginia. In the movie The Martian, there is a maneuver called Slingshot, which uses the gravity assistance of Earth to help accelerate a ship back towards Mars. My question is this technique used in real life? And if so, do you think it would be possible to attempt this maneuver using a black hole?
So, first of all, a slingshot is used in 100% of our missions to the outer planets.
Right. Voyager 1 and 2, Cassini, Juno.
100% of them.
Right.
Cassini, Voyager 1 and 2, Pioneer 1 and 2, Pioneer 10 and 11. There's no other way we want to get to the outer solar system. The value is you get extra bang for your buck. I don't need to have rocket fuel get me that speed. I can come up behind a planet, fall towards the planet while it's in orbit, and come out the other side and having gained energy.
Because the gravity of that planet is pulling it in and shooting it out.
If it's just pure gravity, it's symmetric. It's a subtle point that most people don't get. So if you just have the planet there, you'll fall in and it'll accelerate you. And how about on the other side? You try to get out, but it'll pull back on you. That entire scenario is precisely symmetric. You don't gain anything if you're just falling into the planet and trying to climb back out of the planet.
Okay.
It's symmetric. It accelerates you at just the rate that it slows you down on the other side. The reason why a slingshot works is the planet is in orbit around the sun. And as you approach the planet, yes, the gravity will pull you in, but the gravity is pulling you into a moving planet.
So that's pulling you.
Yes.
So it's like sort of like having two horses.
It's like exactly. So one is just the pure gravity, but that's going to cancel out on the other side.
Right.
But that's bringing you into the reference frame of the planet itself. And that extra energy gets boosted to you, and now you can get farther, faster in the solar system without having a rocket that was big enough to have to do that.
Okay.
So slingshots are, everyone uses a slingshot.
So part of his question is about black hole using that to me is like trying to get energy for a bike by riding behind the jet engine. Like it seems like you're going to be.
Actually, I tried. Let me remind me to tell you something about when I was drafting off a truck, which I don't recommend anyone do.
Were you on a skateboard?
No, I was in a car, but I'll tell you about it in a minute. So it has nothing to do with the gravity of the object. So a black hole would only be useful to you is if the black hole is moving in the direction that you want to be moving when you come out the other side.
Because again, just like the planet,
it's
just not enough to just have the gravity pull you.
Because the gravity's symmetrical. It'll eat you on the other side.
So, but when we're slingshotting, it's like you're sort of borrowing energy from a planet.
You're not borrowing because you ain't giving it back,
and you're not reimbursing through Venmo.
No,
you're screwing the
planet. It would be cool if you could.
So rockets,
you just stolen orbital energy from the planet, and we proceed on the assumption that the planet doesn't mind.
Yeah. They're like teenagers, these rockets. They never have enough energy. They're always asking their parents for a boost. They're a mess.
Yeah, and we got to help them out wherever we find them. They flirt
with the planets. They go up to the planet. They get cute with the planet.
Get close to it, right.
They get close to it, and then next thing you know, gone, never see them again.
On to the outer solar system.
I'm personalizing a lot of this. I've had a lot of
I don't know. Have you been in therapy about this?
Tell me about this car drafting.
Oh, no. So I forgot which car ago of mine this was, but it was the first time I was able to tell me what my miles per gallon was.
Oh, it had this little...
It's an active miles per gallon.
Yeah, probably one of the first computerized cars.
Maybe. It was in there.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that when I floored the accelerator, miles per gallon dropped to like 3 miles a gallon or something. Then when I was cruising, it went back up, gently pressing the... So it was pretty much consistent with the sticker information about the miles per gallon that I was getting. I said, I wonder what happened if I drafted behind a truck, right? Big old 18-wheeler truck. So I'm on the freeway, and I start pulling up behind the truck. and I start seeing the mileage go up, the gas mileage, the miles per gallon go up.
I thought you were going to say you got mesmerized by the mud flaps with the cute girl on them.
So it went from 20 miles per gallon to 30 to 40. Then I got within maybe 15 feet. Very dangerous. I don't recommend anybody do this. 50 feet of a truck going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, and a guy who does this for a living is like, why is this annoying guy behind me? You're lucky you didn't hit on the brake.
I got within about 20 feet, and it went to 99 miles per gallon and didn't go higher than that. So basically went to infinity on the... So I was completely enclosed.
And I just want to say
the draft air of the truck.
And just for the Star Talk fans out there, whenever I go on a car trip with Neil, it's really annoying because he'll only draft behind trucks because he's too cheap for gas. So it's really frightening. You're holding on. It's brutal. And and then he saved money.
Last time I take you on a trip.
Hold on, he saved money. He's still not buying you a hamburger at the McDonald's when you stop. You're on your own. All right? The guy's working it both ways. That's what I'm saying. Okay, this was a very good question. These are great questions.
One thing that most people, I think...
I'm sorry, we're done. You can't talk anymore.
Don't know about drafting. I am creating a more laminar flow of air behind the truck than it otherwise would.
Well, because there's a vacuum there.
Correct. And I am...
So you don't have anything pushing against you.
Correct. But I am making the air behind the truck come off the truck more smoothly, which means when I'm drafting off the truck's gas mileage is improving as well.
But why would what's happening in the back of the truck affect the gas? Because is it pushing down and then pushing it that way?
Because there's no longer a partial vacuum behind the truck because I'm inside that pocket.
But why does a partial vacuum hurt?
Because it's sucking against, the truck is trying to pull against what would otherwise be a lower pressure air.
But now you've got a vacuum behind your car.
Well, it depends on how the air flows.
Don't disagree with me. Just say you're right.
No, it wouldn't have to be a vacuum if the air comes smoothly.
Oh.
Vacuum is when it's turbulent and again. Okay, so now watch. So on bike races where people draft off of others, people say, "Get off my back! I don't want to tow you." They're not towing you. You actually would ride faster if someone is drafting off you.
But it's there.
But the person that's drafting off you is using even less energy than you.
Right. MX self-destruct. Aloha, Dr. Tyson. Samus from Los Angeles. Dr. Tyson, I've heard you describe the process of spaghettification before, and there are lots of theories about what one would see as they fall into a black hole. However, we know that as gravity increases, an observer's perception of time slows down. Since the gravity of an event horizon is infinite, wouldn't this mean that time would effectively stop for anything falling in, and so nothing ever actually crosses into the black hole itself? If you could maintain molecular cohesion, wouldn't you just see it evaporate away as you get closer until it's eventually gone?
Back in the early 70s, when black holes were finally making their way into our mathematics and our ideas and understandings of the universe, the science writer for the New York Times wrote a book titled Frozen Star. And he was referring to black holes. And I read a lot of his work. I mean, I appreciated people writing for the public when I'm there as a middle schooler learning about science. And so he, among others, were early influences in my life. I would clip articles he wrote in the New York Times on the latest discoveries. Anyhow, Frozen Star, referencing the fact that if you watch someone fall into a black hole, they move slower and slower and slower. And right before the event horizon, everything stops. So it's frozen.
That person is frozen.
Anything is frozen, except it's not, but that's what was considered at the time.
Right.
I would learn from Jan Levin sitting in that chair that as you come closer and closer to the black hole, what happens is the event horizon encloses you. There's some phenomena that happens where you're not actually passing through it. You are joining the event horizon as you get absorbed.
So if the black hole...
So you actually do pass through.
There were a trampoline with a giant, and I'm being serious, a ball that creates sort of the effect of a black hole, and you're approaching the edge of that trampoline.
Why is it a trampoline? It's a rubber sheet that's curved.
Listen, it's my analogy. I get to do what I want.
Black hole's not bouncing back.
No. And so when you have, so you're approaching that event horizon from the viewer, from the person looking from the outside.
Outside observer.
You're frozen. that person looks like
as was understood in the early
Right, but that's
70s,
not the case.
you get absorbed into the event horizon itself, then you pass through without incident.
But that's what isn't. Where does spaghettification come in?
It's en route to the singularity.
Right. So your feet are getting pulled and you're getting stretched.
En route to the singularity.
Right.
And big black holes, there's not much tidal forces crossing the event horizon. You just fall right through and you'll be fine.
Right.
It's as you start approaching the singularity deep in the center of the black hole where these effects become significant.
And there is this sort of chaos that's happening within the black hole at all times.
Well, it's eating things voraciously, anything that comes near. So I don't know what the inside of a black hole looks like.
I think you should get on that. Less time drafting behind trucks, more time doing some work. You know what I'm saying, buddy? So in a sense, the black hole is sort of this sort of like time slows down, right?
In the vicinity of the black hole, yes.
Right, and so
as seen by an observer from outside, a very famous scene in the movie Interstellar, where the people are on the black hole planet for 15 minutes, and the guy ages 15 years or some crazy ratio of time evolving for the two of them. You come back, he's got gray hair. I wouldn't have waited that long.
So as gravity increases, time slows down.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is why I guess a lot of work meetings feel like they're right next to a black hole. It's brutal.
No, but you don't know time is slowing down for you.
Well, when you're on a plane, the clock is going a little faster than on Earth, right? Doesn't it speed up a little bit?
Well, not significantly. But it does it for the GPS satellites.
Right.
Yeah, GPS satellites, in fact, is not slowing down, it's speeding up because we are in a higher gravity field than the GPS satellites. So their time ticks faster than ours.
Because the gravity is a little weaker.
Weaker there than here.
Right.
Right. So the GPS satellites pre-correct the time they give you by saying, we're ahead of you, I'm going to subtract that, then I'm going to give all your cell phone towers the correct time. What's funny is we know and understand that phenomenon because of Einstein's general theory of relativity. If his theory of relativity did not exist, we would be measuring that phenomenon and not know why it was happening.
But just accepting it.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
There's a lot we measure and don't understand.
But quantum physics couldn't explain it?
Not that. No, it's relativity entirely.